I didn't realize I was being slowly poisoned until I watched the video with my own eyes. Not a guess, not a feeling. Proof. And the worst part? The woman doing it was the one I trusted with my life. Let me ask you something before I continue. If someone smiled at you every day, cooked for you, cared for you, but secretly tried to end your life, how long would it take you to notice? Or worse, would you even notice at all? My name is Helena Madsen. I'm 66 years old, and until recently, I believed I was just getting older. You know how it goes, a little slower than before, forgetting small things here and there, feeling tired without any real reason. Nothing dramatic, nothing alarming, just age. Or at least that's what I thought. Because 3 years ago, Sabine walked into my life. It was a rainy afternoon, quiet and grey. She stood at my door holding a suitcase, calm and composed. Everything about her felt correct. Her voice was steady, her posture was perfect, her references impeccable. Too impeccable, if I'm being honest now. But back then, I didn't question perfection. I welcomed it. That was my first mistake. She settled in quickly, faster than most people ever could. That very first evening, she cooked dinner, a warm lentil broth with spices I couldn't quite place. It smelled comforting, almost nostalgic. She said it was her grandmother's recipe. I believed her. Why wouldn't I? From that day forward, she became part of my routine. No, not just part of it. She became the routine. She organized my medications better than I ever had, labeled everything with neat, precise handwriting. She rearranged my kitchen, my pantry, even my study. Everything had a place, and everything stayed there. She remembered my habits before I spoke them aloud. Earl Grey tea in the mornings, chamomile in the evenings, no sugar after dinner. It felt care. It felt comfort. It felt safe. People told me I was lucky. My daughter Ellen said it all the time. "Mum, you finally found someone reliable. Just let her handle things." And I did. Because trusting someone is easy when they give you no reason not to. But trust doesn't break all at once. It erodes slowly, quietly, almost politely. At first, it was small things, little things you could easily ignore. My phone would ring, and before I could even reach it, Sabine would already be there. "Oh, just a spam call," she'd say lightly, and then hang up before I even saw the screen. Letters stopped arriving as often, or maybe they arrived and never reached me. My neighbour Moira used to visit every week. She'd bring homemade pastries and stories from down the street. Then suddenly she stopped coming. Sabine told me Moira said I looked tired, that I needed rest. But I didn't remember saying that to anyone, not once. Still, I didn't question it, because doubt requires energy, and slowly I was losing mine. Then came the physical changes, the dizziness. At first it felt harmless, like standing up too fast, the room spinning for just a second, then settling again. But it didn't stop there. It happened again and again and again. One evening, I nearly missed a step on the staircase. Sabine caught me just in time. Her grip was firm. Her voice was calm. "Careful," she whispered softly. "You shouldn't rush." I remember looking at her in that moment, really looking. Her face showed concern, warmth, kindness, but her eyes didn't match. That was the first crack, not enough to break trust, but enough to plant something, a question. That night I couldn't sleep, not properly. My thoughts felt distant, like they were wrapped in something soft, something heavy. I got out of bed and walked into the kitchen. That's when I saw it, my pill organizer, sitting on the counter. I didn't remember leaving it there. Everything looked normal at first glance. Morning pills, afternoon pills, evening pills, all in place. But one of them, one small tablet, looked just slightly different. Same color, same size, but not the same. Like a copy that almost fooled you. Almost. I didn't confront her then. Not then. Instead, I smiled the next morning. I thanked her for breakfast. I told her I felt a little weak, a little tired, and I watched her reaction. She seemed pleased. That's when I knew something wasn't right, and for the first time, I stopped being the patient and started paying attention. I didn't panic, and that might be the only reason I'm still alive, because panic makes noise, and noise gets you noticed. Instead, I stayed quiet. I stayed observant, and most importantly, I stayed patient. My late husband used to tell me something I never forgot. Helena, the person who waits always sees more. Back then it sounded like philosophy. Now it sounded like survival. So I waited. But this time I wasn't waiting blindly. I was watching everything. Every movement Sabine made inside my home, every word she chose carefully in conversation, every glance she thought I didn't notice. And once I started looking, I couldn't stop seeing it. The patterns, the control, the quiet manipulation woven into everything. That same morning, after breakfast, I made a decision. Not an emotional one, a calculated one. If something was wrong, I needed proof. Not suspicion, not feelings, proof. So I left the house. Not suddenly, not dramatically. I told Sabine I needed fresh air, that I might walk into town. She offered to come with me. Of course she did. But I smiled and declined. "I think I need a little independence today," I said softly. She hesitated, just for a second, but I saw it. Then she smiled again, that same perfect, controlled smile. "Of course, Helena." That was the moment I knew. She didn't like losing control, even for an hour. I walked slower than I needed to, played the role she expected, fragile, unsteady, unaware. But inside, I was sharper than I had been in weeks. Every step I took away from that house felt like stepping out of a fog. I didn't go far, just far enough. There was a small electronics store tucked between a bakery and a stationery shop. I had passed it dozens of times before. never needed it, until now. When I walked inside, the young man behind the counter barely looked up. He changed when I asked the right question. "What's your best compact camera for low-light recording?" He blinked. Then he looked at me differently, not like an old woman browsing, like someone who knew exactly what she needed. He showed me 2 options. I bought both. No hesitation, no second guessing, because this wasn't about money, this was about survival. When I returned home, everything looked exactly the same. That was the unsettling part. Nothing had changed, but everything felt different. Sabine greeted me at the door. "Did you enjoy your walk?" she asked gently. I did, and I meant it, because for the first time I felt like I was back in control. That night, while she was busy in the kitchen, I set everything up. One camera went into a porcelain sugar jar I hadn't used in years, positioned just right, facing the counter. The second one I hid inside my study, inside an old cookbook she never touched. She preferred her own recipes, always had. That detail mattered, because people like Sabine only trust what they control. For 2 days I recorded everything, and I mean everything. Her movements, her routines, her habits. And the more I watched, the clearer it became. She wasn't just caring for me, she was managing me, controlling access to my phone, filtering who reached me, moving through my house like it belonged to her, opening drawers she didn't need to open, standing in places a little too long, watching things that didn't concern her. And at night, she checked on me more often than necessary, not out of concern, but out of monitoring, like I was something being observed, not protected. By the second night, I stopped doubting myself completely, because I knew this wasn't in my head, this was real. And then I saw it, the moment everything became undeniable. It was late, the house was quiet, the kind of quiet that makes every small sound feel louder. I was in my study, watching the footage. That's when it happened. Sabine walked into the kitchen, calm, controlled, just like always. She paused, looked over her shoulder, then reached into her pocket and pulled out something small, a tablet, white, round. She placed it on the counter. Then, with the back of a spoon, she crushed it, slowly, carefully, like she had done it many times before. No hesitation, no uncertainty, just routine. My chest tightened, but I didn't look away. I couldn't. Then she poured my tea, chamomile, just like every night, and stirred the powder into it, like it was nothing, like it was normal. Then she picked up her phone, and that's when I heard her voice, low, calm, almost affectionate. "Not much longer," she said. A pause. Then, "She's already weaker than she thinks." I stopped breathing, literally. My hand froze on the desk. I replayed it, once, twice, 3 times. Same words, same tone. No doubt, no misunderstanding. And then, something even worse. She said a name. Carter. Softly, like someone she trusted, like someone she was working with. I leaned back in my chair slowly. The room felt colder, heavier, smaller. This wasn't just her. She wasn't acting alone. That realization changed everything. Because one person can be stopped. 2 people. That's a plan. A real one. And suddenly, everything made sense. The missing money, the phone calls disappearing, the isolation, the medication, the weakness. It wasn't random, it was methodical, step by step, piece by piece. They were building something, and I was at the center of it. That night, I didn't sleep. Not even for a minute. I stayed in that chair, watching, listening, thinking, replaying every detail in my head, trying to understand one thing. Not what they were doing. I already knew that. But when? Because timing was everything now. By morning, I had my answer. I wouldn't confront her. Not yet, because confrontation ends the game, and I wasn't ready to end it. I was ready to win it. So instead, I did something unexpected. I got weaker, or at least I made her believe I was. At breakfast I moved slower, let my hands tremble just slightly, let my voice sound softer, more tired, more distant. She noticed immediately. Of course she did. "You look pale today," she said gently. "I didn't sleep well," I replied. Her eyes stayed on me a second longer than usual, studying, measuring. Then she smiled. "I'll adjust your evening dosage," she said softly. That sentence confirmed everything. I nodded, like it comforted me, but inside, something cold locked into place. She wasn't just poisoning me. She was controlling the pace, managing the decline, designing it. And now, I was going to use that against her. Because if she thought I was fading, she would get careless, and careless people make mistakes. That afternoon, I took the next step, a dangerous one, but necessary. I needed to know how far this went. So when she stepped outside, I moved. Not slowly this time, not weak, fast, precise. Straight to the table where she left my phone. My heart was beating harder than I liked, but my hands steady. Always steady. I opened the call log. Nothing. Not just empty. Cleared. Completely. Wiped. Every call. Gone. I exhaled slowly. That wasn't care. That wasn't protection. That was control. I placed the phone back exactly where it was. Same angle, same position. Details matter. Then I returned to my chair, just in time. When she walked back in, I was exactly what she expected. Still, quiet, fading. And that was exactly what she needed to believe, because the more comfortable she became, the closer she would get to finishing whatever she started. And when she did, I would be ready, not as a victim, but as the one who saw everything coming. And this time, I wouldn't be the one losing control. By the time the sun dipped behind the trees that evening, I wasn't afraid anymore. Fear had done its job. It had warned me. Now I needed something else. Control. And control doesn't come from reacting. It comes from planning. So I stopped thinking like someone being hunted and started thinking like someone setting the trap. That night, when Sabine brought my tea, everything looked exactly the same. Same porcelain cup, same soft steam rising into the air, same gentle smile resting on her face. If I hadn't seen the footage, I would have trusted it completely. That's how dangerous she was. Consistency builds trust, and she had perfected it. "Here you go, Helena," she said softly. I smiled back. "Thank you, dear." My voice sounded weaker than I felt. Good. She lingered a second longer than usual, watching, always watching. Then she left the room. I waited, counted to 10 in my head, then 20. Then I stood up, not slowly, not carefully, normally, like I used to. I walked to the plant by the window, lifted the cup, and poured every single drop into the soil. The smell of chamomile filled the air, soft, innocent, a lie. I set the empty cup back exactly where it had been. Angle mattered, position mattered, everything mattered now, because one mistake would cost me everything. The next morning I felt different, clear, sharp, present. No dizziness, no fog, no heaviness dragging my thoughts down. And that confirmed it completely. She hadn't just been making me feel weak, she had been making me look weak. There's a difference, a very important one, because feeling weak is temporary. Looking weak changes how people treat you, how they see you, how they believe you. And suddenly, everything made sense in a new way. This wasn't just about harming me, it was about rewriting me, turning me into someone unreliable, confused, dependent, easy to control, easy to replace. That realization changed the stakes, because now I understood the end game, and it wasn't quick. It was slow, legal, clean. That afternoon, I reviewed the footage again, more carefully this time, not just watching Sabine, watching everything around her. Background, movement, shadows.
And that's when I saw it, something I had missed before. A figure, barely visible near the back entrance. Tall, still, waiting. I paused the video, leaned closer, my breath slowed. Then Sabine stepped into frame. She walked toward the door, opened it slightly, not fully, just enough to speak. Her voice was lower this time, sharper. "Not today," she whispered. A pause, then, "She's still aware." Those words echoed in my head over and over again. She's still aware. That wasn't guesswork. That wasn't concern. That was timing. They were waiting for the moment I wouldn't be able to resist, wouldn't be able to understand, wouldn't be able to say no. And that moment was getting closer. At least that's what they believed. I leaned back slowly in my chair. Everything inside me went very still. Because now there was no doubt left, no room for denial, no comforting explanations. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't care gone wrong. This was deliberate, planned, coordinated, and patient. Just like me. Only difference.
They thought I was already losing. That was their mistake. That evening I made another decision, a critical one. I needed help, but not the kind that asks questions first, the kind that listens to proof. So I waited until Sabine stepped outside again. She had started taking these short walks at odd hours, too consistent to be random. I went straight to my study, closed the door, locked it, and picked up the phone. There was a number written inside an old folder, a number I hadn't used in years. My bank, but not the public line, the private one, the one that connects you to people who notice details. I dialed. It rang once, twice, then a voice answered. Gideon Stroud speaking. Calm, measured, professional. "Mr. Stroud," I said quietly, "this is Helena Madsen." A pause, then recognition. "Mrs. Madsen, of course. How can I assist you?" I didn't waste time. I need to know if there have been irregular activities on my accounts. Silence. Then, what prompted this concern? "Just check," I said. Another pause. Then typing. Fast, precise. The kind of typing that doesn't miss anything. Then silence again. Longer this time. When he spoke again, his tone had changed. "Mrs. Madsen, there have been several small transfers." My hand tightened slightly. "How much?" "Individually, they are minimal," he said carefully. "But collectively," he hesitated, "just over $23,000. I closed my eyes, not in shock, in confirmation, because that number didn't surprise me. It fit
perfectly. "Do you recognize the receiving accounts?" I asked. "No," he replied, "but I can trace them further with authorization." "You have it," I said immediately. No hesitation. "Done," he replied, "and I recommend placing temporary restrictions on all outgoing transfers." "Yes," I said, "do that." When the call ended, I didn't move for a moment. $23,000, taken slowly, quietly, just like everything else. This wasn't opportunistic. This was systematic, careful, planned, and ongoing. I stood up, walked to the bookshelf, and pulled out something I hadn't touched in years. An old leather ledger. My husband used to keep records in it. Every expense, every investment, every detail. Precise, consistent. I opened it, blank page, and started writing. Dates, observations, changes, patterns, not emotions, facts. Because facts are what survive. By the time I heard the front door open, I had already returned everything to its place. The ledger, the pen, myself. When Sabine walked in, I was back in the chair, wrapped in a blanket, exactly how she expected. "Helena," she called softly. "Yes," I replied, "just resting." She appeared in the doorway, studied me, then smiled. "Good," she said. "You should save your strength." I smiled back, and for the first time, I meant it. Just not in the way she thought. Because now I knew exactly what she was doing, and more importantly, I knew how she was doing it. And when you understand both, you stop being the target and start becoming the threat. That night, as I sat alone in my study, I realized something important. They thought time was on their side, but they were wrong, because the moment I became aware, time shifted, not in their favor, in mine. And now, I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was preparing for the moment they made their final move.
The next morning arrived quietly, but everything underneath it had changed completely. I woke up before Sabine for the first time in weeks, and that alone told me how much control I had already taken back. There was no heaviness behind my eyes, no slow fog dragging through my thoughts, just clarity that felt sharp and almost unfamiliar after everything I had been through. I sat on the edge of my bed for a moment, listening carefully to the house, because silence now meant information instead of comfort. From the kitchen I heard movement, soft but deliberate, the sound of someone already preparing something with purpose. Good, I thought, because I was preparing too. I stood up slowly, not because I needed to anymore, but because she expected me to move like that, and expectation had become my greatest advantage. Every step I took was calculated now, not for survival alone, but for control over how she saw me. By the time I reached the hallway, Sabine was already carrying a tray, her posture perfect, her expression calm, like nothing in the world had shifted. "Good morning, Helena," she said, softly, placing the tray down in front of me with that same controlled care. "Good morning," I replied, letting my voice drag slightly, like my thoughts were struggling to keep up, even though they were clearer than ever. She studied me while pretending not to, watching for signs, measuring progress, confirming what she believed was happening. "Did you sleep?" she asked, her tone gentle but her eyes sharp. "A little," I answered quietly, then paused just long enough to make it believable before adding, "I feel distant." That word mattered, and I saw it land exactly where I needed it to. Her shoulders relaxed just slightly, her confidence settling deeper into place. "Then we should take care of everything today," she said, her voice smooth but carrying urgency underneath it. Everything. That word told me more than she realized. I nodded slowly, as if I barely understood what she meant, even though I understood it perfectly. After breakfast, which I didn't touch, she disappeared into the study for a few minutes, and when she returned, she was holding a folder. It was thicker than before, heavier, prepared. This was no longer testing, this was execution. "Helena," she said, sitting beside me, placing the folder carefully on the table, "there are just a few things we should finalize for your security." Security, another carefully chosen word. I looked at the folder without opening it, letting my hand hover slightly above it, like I wasn't sure what I was looking at. "What kind of things?" I asked softly, keeping my tone uncertain but not resistant. "Simple authorizations," she replied smoothly, "just in case you need additional support managing things." Managing things, controlling everything. I let my fingers tremble slightly as I reached for the pen she offered, but then I stopped midway, letting hesitation settle into the moment. "Maybe after tea," I murmured, lowering my gaze like the effort itself was tiring me. That hesitation frustrated her, even if she hid it well, and I caught the smallest tightening in her jaw before she smoothed her expression again. "Of course," she said, gently. "I'll bring it." She stood and walked toward the kitchen, and this time I didn't stay still. I followed, quietly, stopping just far enough to see her reflection in the glass cabinet without being seen. And then I watched it happen again. The cup, the tablet, the same precise motion. Crush, stir, no hesitation, no doubt. Then she picked up her phone. "Everything's set," she said quietly, her voice lower now, sharper than before. A pause followed, and then she added something that shifted everything again. "Heel sign today." He, not she. I froze in place, my mind adjusting instantly to what that meant. They weren't just trying to control my money anymore, they were trying to replace me completely. Power of attorney, full authority, legal disappearance while I was still alive. I stepped back before she could turn and returned to my chair, slipping back into the role she believed in without missing a beat. When she brought the tea, I accepted it with a faint smile, letting my fingers wrap loosely around the cup as if I needed the warmth. "Careful," she said softly, watching me closely. I looked down at the pages, dense with legal language, names, clauses, and authority that would have erased me completely if I signed. I let my hand hover, then hesitated again. "What is this one?" I asked, pointing vaguely at a paragraph. "That's just a standard authorization," she replied quickly, leaning in closer than before. "In case you need assistance managing your affairs." Assistance, control, replacement. I nodded slowly, then whispered, "I can't see very well." That changed her expression slightly, introducing urgency beneath her calm surface. "Then we shouldn't delay," she said, placing her hand gently over mine, guiding it toward the page. That was her mistake. Contact meant confidence, and confidence made people careless. The pen touched the paper just enough to make her believe I was about to sign. And then a knock. Sharp, unexpected, loud enough to break the rhythm instantly. Sabine froze for just a fraction of a second, but it was enough. We both turned toward the door when the knock came again, more insistent this time. "Stay here," she said quickly, standing up too fast for someone who was supposed to be calm. I let the pen slip from my fingers like I had lost control completely, letting it fall on the paper naturally. "Yes," I murmured faintly. She walked toward the door, but I could see the tension now, the recalculation happening behind her composed exterior. This wasn't part of her plan. Good. I stayed exactly where I was, maintaining the image she believed in, while every part of me focused on what was about to happen. When she opened the door, a voice entered the house that I had only heard once before. "Good afternoon," Detective Alaric Vane said calmly. Silence followed, heavy and immediate. Sabine didn't respond right away, and that hesitation told me everything I needed to know. "I believe we need to talk," he added, stepping inside without waiting for permission. She recovered quickly, faster than most people would. "Of course," she said smoothly, stepping aside. "How can I help?" "I'm here for a routine welfare check," he replied calmly, his tone steady and controlled. "That won't be necessary," she said lightly. "Mrs. Madsen has been unwell." "I'll determine that myself," he said, without raising his voice, but with complete certainty. That unsettled her more than anything else. She stepped aside fully this time, allowing him in. He walked into the room slowly, taking in everything without making it obvious. The table, the folder, the pen, every detail mattered. "Mrs. Madsen," he said, approaching me carefully. "May I speak with you?" I blinked slowly, letting my gaze appear unfocused for just a moment. "Yes," I murmured. He crouched slightly, keeping his tone calm and balanced. "Are you feeling all right today?" "A bit tired," I replied softly. He nodded, then asked quietly, "Do you know who I am?" I looked at him properly for a brief second, letting clarity show just enough. Yes. That was all he needed. He stood up. Sabine saw it. I saw her see it. The shift, the realization that something had passed between us that she wasn't controlling. Danger. "Detective," she said gently, stepping closer, "I think you might be misunderstanding her condition." "I didn't ask you," he replied, calmly but firmly. That was the moment everything started to break. She adjusted quickly, trying to regain control. "I'm responsible for her care," she said, a little more firmly now. "Any questions should go through me. And they will, but not before I speak with her privately." "Privately?" she repeated too quickly. Another mistake. He looked at her directly. "Is there a reason you're refusing?" "I'm not refusing," she corrected, but the control in her voice had weakened. "I'm protecting her." "From what?" he asked. Silence answered him. Then he reached for his phone casually. "Backup can come in if necessary," he said. That was enough. She stepped back. "Fine," she said. "I'll be in the kitchen." And just like that, she lost control of the room. The moment Sabine walked into the kitchen, the entire atmosphere changed. Not loudly, not dramatically, but completely. The air felt different, like something heavy had finally shifted off my chest after days of pressure. Detective Vane didn't waste a second once she was out of the room. "You have it?" he asked, quietly, his voice low enough that it wouldn't carry. "Yes," I said, and for the first time there was no weakness in my tone. I reached under the blanket slowly, carefully, and pulled out the small flash drive I had prepared earlier. All recordings, every moment, every piece of truth I had captured. I placed it in his hand. "And the sample?" he asked. I slipped the small vial from my cardigan pocket, the one containing the residue from the tea I had poured into the plant. He took both items, his expression tightening just slightly as he understood exactly what he was holding. "This is more than enough," he said quietly, "but we're not finished yet." "I know," I replied, because I already understood what needed to happen next. He glanced briefly toward the kitchen, listening, calculating. "She still thinks she has time," he said. "She doesn't," I answered. There was a brief silence, but it wasn't uncertainty, it was alignment. "We let her try again," he continued calmly. "We need intent, pressure, and action at once." "And she will," I said without hesitation, because people like Sabine don't walk away when they are this close to finishing something. They push harder, they rush, and when they rush, they make mistakes. From the kitchen, I heard a drawer open sharply, then close, metal against wood. Preparation. I leaned back into the chair again, letting my body relax, slipping back into the version of myself she believed in. Weak, fading, easy to control. But now it was a performance, and I was in control of it. Sabine returned moments later, and something about her had changed. Not enough for anyone else to notice, but I noticed. Her movements were more measured, her smile slightly tighter, her eyes sharper. She had adjusted her plan. "Everything all right?" she asked gently, stepping back into the room like nothing had happened. "Perfectly," Detective Vane replied calmly. They held each other's gaze for a moment longer than necessary. Two people measuring risk, two people calculating outcomes. Then she smiled again. "Good," she said softly, turning her attention back to me. Helena was just about to finish signing. I let my hand twitch slightly on the armrest, weak, uncertain, just enough to keep the illusion alive. "I was trying," I murmured. "You're doing very well," she said gently, placing the pen back into my hand. Her tone felt different now, not caring, managing, like I was already something she owned. "Let's continue," she added. Detective Vane stepped slightly to the side, observing without interfering, waiting. I lowered my gaze again, now fully aware of what the papers represented. Control over my finances, control over my decisions, control over my life. And beneath all of that, a permanent clause that would remove my voice completely. They weren't helping me, they were erasing me. "Here," Sabine said softly, guiding my hand again. "Just this line." I let the pen touch the paper lightly, just enough to create a mark, but not a signature. "I can't," I whispered. Her grip tightened slightly. "Try again," she said, her voice still soft, but now carrying pressure. "I can't see it clearly," I added, blinking slowly, as if my vision was fading. That pause was longer this time, heavier. Then a voice entered the room. "Maybe I can help with that." All of us turned at once. A man stood in the doorway, tall, confident, too familiar. Carter. So he had decided to come himself. That told me everything. They were running out of time. "Who is this?" Detective Vane asked calmly. "Family associate," Carter replied smoothly, stepping forward. "Helping with legal matters." The lie came too easily, too practiced. Sabine didn't correct him. Another mistake. "Of course," she added quickly, trying to regain control. "He's assisting with the paperwork." They nodded slightly, as if accepting it, but I could feel the shift. The pressure had doubled. Carter stepped closer to the table, his presence heavier, more direct than Sabine's. Where she was controlled, he was impatient. "We don't have all day," he said quietly. "Not to me, to her." That mattered. It meant she wasn't fully in control anymore. Interesting. I lowered my gaze again, letting my hand tremble more visibly. "I'm tired," I murmured. "You'll be fine," Carter snapped too sharply. Sabine glanced at him immediately, a warning, but it was too late. That tone didn't match the story, not caregiver, not concern. Something else, something predatory. Detective Vane saw it, I saw it, even Sabine saw it. And for the first time, something cracked between them. "You're pushing too hard," she whispered under her breath. "We're out of time," he replied. There it was, the truth. No more careful wording, no more soft control, just urgency. And urgency makes people careless. I let the pen slip from my fingers again, letting it fall to the floor with a soft sound. "I can't," I repeated weakly. Silence filled the room, heavy. Then Carter moved, too fast, too direct. He stepped toward me, reaching out, not for the pen, for me. And that was the moment everything broke. "Don't!" The word came from behind him, sharp, final. Controlled. Carter froze mid-motion. Slowly he straightened. Detective Vane hadn't raised his voice, hadn't stepped aggressively, but something in the room had shifted completely. "That's close enough," Vane said calmly. Now Carter turned fully toward him, finally recognizing the threat. Sabine stepped in quickly, trying to recover. "This is a misunderstanding," she said, her voice softer but strained. "She's unwell and confused." "She seems very clear to me," Vane interrupted. Silence followed, heavier this time, because now the illusion was breaking in real time. "We're wasting time," Carter muttered, and that was it. The final mistake. Not just what he said, but how he said it. Too exposed, too real. Vane stepped forward once. "You want to explain what you're doing here?" he asked calmly. No answer. Sabine tried again. "He's assisting with documentation," she said quickly. "No," Vane replied. "You haven't explained anything." Another step closer. "I've got enough to ask better questions now, so I'll ask again. What are you doing here?" Carter didn't answer. Instead, he looked at Sabine, and in that single glance, everything collapsed. No more control, no more coordination, just two people realizing at the same time they had lost. "Finish it," Carter muttered under his breath. Sabine didn't move. For the first time since I had known her, she hesitated. That hesitation cost her everything, because in that exact moment, Detective Vane reached into his coat and pressed a small device. "Officers," he said calmly, "come in." The front door opened immediately. They had been there the entire time, waiting. Two officers entered quickly, controlled, precise. Everything accelerated. Sabine stepped back. Carter didn't. He moved toward the table, reaching for the papers. Desperation. Too late. An officer grabbed him instantly, pulling his arm back. "Hands where I can see them," the officer said firmly. Carter resisted for a split second, just enough to make it worse. They forced him down, controlled, efficient. Sabine didn't run. She didn't fight. She stood still, watching it all fall apart. "Miss Vossen," Vane said, turning to her, "you'll need to come with us." Her eyes moved slowly from him to Carter, then to me, and for the first time there was no softness left, no performance. "What did you do?" she asked quietly. I met her gaze, steady, clear. "I stayed aware," I said. "That's all."
Her jaw tightened, then she let out a short laugh, almost impressed. "You were supposed to fade," she said. "I didn't," I replied. An officer stepped forward. "Ma'am?" She didn't resist, not physically, but as they took her arm, she looked back at me one last time, still calculating, still trying to understand where it went wrong. Then they were gone. The door closed and silence returned. Real silence, not controlled, not staged, just quiet. I sat there for a moment, looking at the pen on the floor and the unsigned paper in my lap. Such a small thing, a signature. That's all it would have taken. One moment of weakness, and everything would have been gone. Quietly, legally, completely. "Quietly, Mrs. Madsen," Vane said softly. I looked up. "Are you all right?" "Yes," I said, and this time it was the simplest truth I had spoken in days. He nodded, glancing at the folder. "With the evidence you provided, this won't take long," he said. "The recordings, the sample, the financial trail, it's all there." I nodded slowly. "I have one question," I said. He waited. "My daughter," I continued quietly, "was she involved?" A pause, careful, measured. "No," he replied, "not directly." That wording mattered. "She believed what she was told," he added, "that you were declining." I looked down at my hands. So simple, so dangerous. "I stopped asking questions," I said quietly. "Yes," he replied. That hurt more than anything, because Sabine was a stranger. My daughter wasn't. After a moment, he stepped back. "We'll need a formal statement," he said. "I'll arrange everything." I nodded. Then he left. The door closed again, and this time I was truly alone. I stood up slowly, not performing, not pretending, just standing. I walked into the kitchen. The cup was still there, chamomile, untouched. I picked it up, walked to the sink, and poured it out. No hesitation, no doubt, just action. I rinsed the cup and placed it aside, then rested my hands on the counter. The house felt different now, lighter, like something heavy had finally been removed. For 3 years I had allowed someone else to move through my life, quietly, carefully, almost politely, and that had been the most dangerous part. Not force, not violence, permission. From the hallway, my phone started ringing. I turned and picked it up. My daughter. "Mum?" Her voice came through, uncertain. "I just got a call. What happened?" "The truth," I said calmly. A pause. "Are you okay?" she asked. I thought about it, then answered honestly. "I am now." Silence followed, real, heavy. "We need to talk," she said. "Yes," I replied, "but this time we'll do it on my terms." The next morning she came without warning. No call, no delay, just a car outside and hurried footsteps. I opened the door before she could knock. For a moment she just stood there looking at me, not past me, at me.
"You look," she started. "Clear?" I said. She nodded. Yes. That word carried everything. She walked inside slowly, looking around the house. "What happened?" she asked. I told her everything. Not dramatically, not emotionally, just truth. And as she listened, I watched her change. Confusion, denial, understanding, then guilt. "I thought I was helping," she whispered. "I believe you," I said, and I did. That didn't change what happened, but it mattered. Later, after she left, I walked through the house alone, room by room. Everything was the same, but it felt returned, like something invisible had been taken and finally given back. In the kitchen, I made tea again, properly this time, no shortcuts, no doubt. I sat down and took a sip, warm, clean, real. And for the first time in a long time, it was just tea. Nothing hidden, nothing dangerous, just mine. Let me tell you something before you go. If someone starts controlling your calls, your money, your body, you're already deeper in danger than you think. Don't wait as long as I did. Trust what feels wrong. Act sooner. Because awareness is the only thing they can't take from you. And sometimes it's the only thing that saves you. Now, tell me honestly, would you have caught it in time?